I like to share it as my business, your business, and God's business. And if I get into yours, I'm out of mine, and no wonder I'm lost. I'm just guessing. You are, they are, the world is, and I am. But if I stay in my business, then I can understand myself, and in that, I can better understand the world with more compassion and understanding, and judgments fall away. It's just a beautiful thing to be present. And present doesn't mean dumb. It means a listener. And in that, there's laughter and connection and a space to join in or not. And it allows us to be a part of the community of the world and not have to hang out with safe people we believe we're safe. It doesn't mean that we don't, but it's not out of fear.
Welcome. I'm Alyssa Nobriga, your host of the Healing and Human Potential podcast, a place for you to discover the multidimensionality of what it means to be human. Over the past 20 years, I've trained thousands of coaches in my methodology, leveraging my experience as a former psychotherapist, and I'm here to share with you all the wisdom and insights that I've learned along the way. Each week, I'll share with you life-changing tools to support you in awakening and manifesting your dream life from the inside out. We'll be exploring the intersection between ancient wisdom and modern everyday life, really diving deep into the art of human potential through the lens of psychology, spirituality, and coaching. Let's let the magic unfold. I have a very special guest for you today on the podcast, one of my spiritual teachers and dear friends who is an author, she's a speaker, and she's really touched millions of people's lives around the world. We have the one and only Byron Katie today on the podcast, and I want to give you a taste of the magic this woman carries with a really open and clear mind. So I'm going to read to you a section of her book, 1,000 Names for Joy. This is essentially her experience of when she was at gunpoint. And you can kind of see the depth of work that is available for all of us when we live beyond fear. A man sticks a pistol into my stomach, pulls back the hammer and says, "I'm going to kill you." I'm shocked that he's taking his thoughts so seriously. To somebody identified as an I, the thought of killing causes guilt that leads to a life of suffering. So I ask him as kindly as I can not to do it. I don't tell him that it's his suffering that I'm thinking of. He says he has to do it, and I understand. I remember believing that I had to do things in my old life. I thanked him for doing the best he can, and I noticed that I'm fascinated. Is this how she dies? Is this how the story ends? And as joy continues to fill me, I find it miraculous that the story is still going on. You can never know the ending, even as it ends. I'm very moved at the sight of the sky, the clouds, the moonlit trees. I love that I don't miss one moment, one breath of this amazing life. I wait and wait. And in the end, he doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't do that to himself. What we call quote unquote bad and what we call quote unquote good both come from the same place. The Tao Te Ching says that the source of everything is called darkness. What a beautiful name if we must name it. Darkness is our source. In the end, it embraces everything. Its nature is love. In our confusion, we name it terror, ugliness, and the unacceptable, unbearable. All our stress results from what we imagine is in that darkness. We imagine darkness as separate from ourselves, and we project something terrible onto it. But in reality, the darkness is always benevolent. It doesn't change. And when you realize this, you just have to laugh. There's nothing serious about life or death. That's powerful, and that's available, in my experience, the more we wake up from the fear-based mind. And her process for doing that, which I'll demonstrate in today's session, vulnerably, honestly, around a topic that I think a lot of people can relate to, which is wanting people to like them. And so I'm going to share authentically about my experience. She'll do the work with me so that you can see how you can apply this work to your own life. Yay. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This is such a moment.
I've wanted this as much as you have.
I just love you so much. And I'm here to just connect and drop in with you and also share the power of the work in the world, because I've had so many years. I was reflecting, it's been 18 years since I've been doing the work. And every week, the last 6 years as a regular routine. And to me, I want to share you with my audience, but I also want to share the work because I find it to be the cleanest mindset tool that really works on any thought, anywhere for free. I remember when I found the work, I was thinking, it doesn't matter what happens in life, whether I'm in jail, I become homeless, because I know the power of questioning my thoughts. I know I'll find my okayness in any situation. It's that powerful. And so,
yes, it is.
Yeah. And I know you have a dramatic and very powerful before and after story. I know part of your awakening story was that you were agoraphobic. For people that don't know what that means, it's you're too afraid to leave the house. And for you, I remember you telling me that it was, bedridden in some ways. You would not even leave the room.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah.
And so tell us, because I know you went to a halfway house. And when we were in Costa Rica, you were sharing that you were in the attic of a halfway house. Share with us a little bit, just so we have a context about that moment of transformation, of awakening, so people get a sense for the power of this.
And it's not about where I was. It's it wasn't about any of that. It's just I was asleep like every person in the world. We sleep within a 24-hour period, and we dream or we don't. And I was on the floor, this suffering human being, and for whatever reason, a cockroach crawled over my foot. I was in a dead sleep on the floor because my esteem was so low and I was so full of self-loathing. I didn't believe I deserved a bed to sleep in. And it was right there with me in this little room. But so sleeping on the floor and this bug crawled over my foot, and I'm in this, let's say, this dead sleep. And I opened my eyes, and before the ego could grab onto that identity to identify as I am the woman on the floor, before any of that could happen, I saw the space that cockroach gave me. I saw like a window. There was a window in the room, but I didn't know it was a window. I had no reference in that space before the ego could hypnotize me.
Yeah. Hypnotize, make reference. Yeah.
Yeah. Like trance me. So I saw it, and then I heard the word window. And that's when I began to laugh. And I didn't laugh on purpose. It's just this laughter. It was the first sound that came out of what I used to refer as the first sound that came out of it, because it was still unidentified as object body. So I began to laugh. And then I saw and heard the word wall, and then ceiling, and then light coming from the window. And and that is the birth of, and that's where, and people would say, what is it? What happened? You're an agoraphobic, someone years of depression and with no way out, and I might just, all that fear of leaving the home, I might just walk out the door at home for no reason and not know where I was going, in absolute absolute clarity that it's a beautiful world.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful world without downside, without opposite. Now, how can I say that? And people were asking me, what is your freedom? I put people in my position, the position on the floor with these questions. I'd say, they would fill in, like, I saw the mind work. So 1 through 6 on what I call the Judge Your Neighbor worksheets, 1 through 6. So that's the world, and it covers it. It covers it all without exception. It is like, I need, they shouldn't. Da, 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 da. There are only 6 things we do, and that the ego offers up, and then there are variations of that. So we remain in this hypnotic trance. So I give people opportunity to anchor. Just be then, now, be there in time now, when your feelings were hurt, or someone said something, or you were fear maybe to leave your home, like I was, or you're judging your children, your spouse, it doesn't, your workplace, it doesn't matter. You just fill in that worksheet for what you're believing in any given situation where you feel hurt or stress, depression, and you just anchor in that situation. So you meditate in that time and place, and you identify the thoughts that Judge Your Neighbor worksheet supports you to anchor in. And there's the cause of your suffering. What is the cause of our suffering? What we're thinking and believing in any given time or situation. It doesn't matter. There it is. And I also refer to it sometimes as checkmate. There's the cause of your suffering. There it is. And it doesn't matter if it was 1 minute ago or 10 years ago, or, it just doesn't matter. We just move it from our head to paper, the things we resent, the people we resent, the people, etc. So, and then we question them. And so that is what I experienced on the floor as well, in a way that puts people in that position in any time and place. And then people look at what's on their worksheet, one belief at a time. And they question what they're believing, and then they find an opposite, just like I saw on the floor window, and the laughter was, it's not a window. I mean, that can never be. It's a trance. It's just like I got it, and I can put words to it now. There were no words then. It was self-realized.
Yeah. So I hear that there was a deep depression and suffering. And in that moment of not feeling worthy on the ground, for whatever reason, you woke up beyond the mind to be able to see when the mind was starting to separate life and create the contraction and the suffering. And
actually identify nothing as something that we call life. And yes, our words are equal, and yours are probably more understandable than mine.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
It takes both, though,
Yeah. Different angles of it.
We can't. Yeah.
And the work, and we'll have possibly a demonstration today, is you first do a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, the process of the work, and I'll share all the links and things, but it's essentially you fill out a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet to collect the catty, unconscious, honest beliefs at that time in that situation as a meditation. And then you can go back through every belief.
Situation, time, and place when we were believing the thought and felt such shame or hurt or anger or And then you take the 4 questions and 3 turnarounds through each belief, and it starts unraveling the mind, and you feel a sense of peace and freedom on the other side. And, what I love about it is that you don't need a teacher. It helps highlight your own wisdom and that it's accessible for everyone at any time. It's powerful. Yeah. It's a way out of suffering, and it's for anyone with an open mind.
Mhm.
It takes a very open mind. That's why those of us are suffering and can't find a way out of that suffering. For some of us, that's what it takes to get to this work. But
Mhm.
anyone in an open I like to say, when you think your life absolutely cannot get any better, it has to. It's a law. It's a law. We're unlimited, and we're unlimited in joy and love and freedom. The absence of fear. It's our birthright. It's what we come to. I refer to Earth as Earth School. It's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And this is one way. We have many beautiful ways in this world, many
Yeah.
beautiful teachers and ways and religions and methods, and this one was shown to me. And
One of the reasons I love it so much is because it gives you a framework that you can apply to any thought that helps you live with an open heart, open mind. I think it's very easy to live in peace, secluded on a mountaintop. And this helps stay open in a very modern day life. And so how do we use those everyday triggers to help free us, to help us live free?
And that's the key. They show us how, those worksheets show us how to live in any given situation, and not from someone who's telling us that, but out of our own self, and realized. And it sounds like some kind of miracle, and actually it is. It's where the ego has a voice, and we're not trying to shut it down or argue with it or suffer over it. We simply let the ego fill in the worksheet, and then we question it. And the ego loves to go, oh, I know. And so how do I react when I believe the thought, oh, I know. And it will just show us, and we just notice. And this is like love making. It's like, oh, honey, is a term for ego, honey. Is it true? Are you sure? And it's that kind of patience we learn to sit in ourselves. And the ego goes, yes. And okay, can you absolutely? And then it gets really still in that situation. And then it's open to, like something terrible is going to happen. Is it true? Okay, I look around. Is there any, in that situation? I have to anchor there to answer the questions, because this isn't a guessing game.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that anchoring piece, being in that scene in your mind, in that memory, pressing pause, and then filling out the worksheet from there and really inquiring from there. I think that's so powerful.
Yeah. And that's the work.
And sometimes we don't even know that we have stories that we're filtering reality on. So sometimes people, I hear them say like, I don't have anything. And it's often that we're just not paying attention. And so I remember I was at your no body retreat with love those, with a couple, friend of Emilio and I was doing my mind was doing what it typically did, which was compare myself to her and always fall short. And I remember I was doing the work. She was at the workshop as well. And it was the first time, it was so obvious, but it's like a fish in water. It's hard to see it when we're in it. And it was the first time I realized that if somebody were to walk into a room, this same room, they wouldn't know that we were friends. They wouldn't know how successful her business was, how successful mine was. There was no comparative. It was all made up in my mind, causing my own suffering as an unconscious way to help motivate me to do better, so that then I was loved. I could see all of it, thinking that my security was in how people saw me. But bringing inquiry, pen to paper, really not in your mind, but really writing it down, helped me start waking up and to be able to observe the mind rather than getting absorbed into it. And so even just the act of filling out a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet helps you see it with more space and not unconsciously get seduced into the egoic trance. And then the process of the 4 questions and 3 turnarounds helped to start unraveling it and not just get pulled into unconscious programming.
And there it is, where the ego can't play with it. It is our mind on paper. There it is, black and white, not moving steady.
Yeah.
Just right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the cause of our suffering, and it's stable, and it'll hold while we meditate, get still in those 4 questions and turnarounds.
Yeah. And it brings us back to ourself. And I love that it feels very clean in my experience because you don't take credit for people's clarity or confusion. It's just helping them come back to themselves. One of the quotes that I love that you say is, you hear what you think I said and enlighten yourself. I think that's brilliant. You hear what you think I said and enlighten yourself. It's your own interpretation. That's just so empowering. Imagine having a fulfilling career doing what you love, working from anywhere in the world, setting your own hours while making good money and a big impact. If that lights you up, then I'm super excited to share with you today's sponsor, the Institute for Coaching Mastery. This is my robust, accredited year-long certification program for new or seasoned coaches, therapists, leaders, and those just looking to up-level their life in a profound way. We have an amazing community of students from all around the world who have really started their journey to expand with us both personally and professionally. And this experience is designed to give you the 3 things that you need to thrive. So first, you have all of the tools and support you need to move past what's been holding you back so that you can completely change the trajectory of your life. And then you learn how to masterfully and confidently facilitate transformation with your clients or your team, regardless of your niche. If you want to do health, business, relationship, or you just have no idea yet, we hold your hand through that. And then lastly, you'll receive my 6-figure and beyond signature roadmap that's customizable to meet you wherever you are. So whether you want to do high ticket sales, online marketing, or you just want to hit 6 figures without ever needing to go on social media, we've got you covered. And this truly is the most rewarding work in the world. We have new students now who have a waitlist of dream clients in under a year. We also have seasoned students who are doing $80,000 months. And this is really about creating lasting transformation from the inside out so that you can share your gifts and serve the world in all the ways that you're called to. And I've seen firsthand the power of what happens when you have the community to collaborate with, but you also have the right tools and resources to really thrive. And so whether you want to do your own personal development, you're wanting to become a coach, or you're just looking for a cutting edge approach to really grow your business, the Institute for Coaching Mastery is for you. You are held every single step of the way. And so if you want to get behind the scenes access to the Institute with 3 proven transformational tools for free to help you create the business and life you love, all you have to do is go to alyssanobriga.com/tools, or you can find us at alyssanobriga.com/apply now to see all the details and apply today. One of my favorite parts of your teachings is the 3 types of businesses. Can you share with us about the 3 types of business?
I'd like to share it as my business, your business, and God's business, the God of, of whatever understanding that is for each of us individually. And if I get into yours, I'm out of mine, and no wonder I'm lost. I'm lost, like a fly, I'm just guessing. You are, they are, the world is, and I am. And, but if I stay in my business, then I can understand myself, and in that, I can better understand the world, and with more compassion and understanding, and judgments fall away. It's just a beautiful thing to be present. And present doesn't mean dumb. It means a listener. And in that, there's laughter and connection and a space to join in or not. And it allows us to be a part of the community of the world and not have to hang out with safe people we believe we're safe. It doesn't mean that we don't, but it's not out of fear of it. We're not there because we're fearful of moving out of that arena.
Yeah. And And I just encourage anyone to test it. I know you do that as well. Just, you don't have to trust it, but test it, see what it's like. Because to me, finding the work changed my life. And I want to make sure to share it with as many people as possible. A fun story, 15 years ago, when I first started dating or first started connecting with Emilio, as for those that are listening, don't know, this is my husband, boyfriend at the time. And I was doing,
for those of you that haven't met him, okay. Divine, a word for Emilio, the word is divine. So it's only right that the two of you would meet and fall in love.
So we love this man. And I was doing the work regularly at the time, and I wanted to share it with him. So we drove out to Ojai to go to an inquiry circle, and inquiry circles are essentially doing the work in community. And Emilio professed his love for me on the drive out. And I didn't know how to respond because it wasn't true for me to say, I love you back. And we were late, and I were pulling up to the work and to the school, and I closed the door after he professed his love to me, and I go into the school and we sit down, and the prompt is, I need your love. Is it true? It was absolutely the perfect response for him to see that he didn't need me to respond. His love that he felt for me was his. It had nothing to do with me, for him to embody. And I had just taken myself through deep inquiry of what love is and the source of love, which I am. And it was such a beautiful synchronistic experience. And I feel like the work brings us back to ourselves, where we don't need life to change for us to be free and okay. We just want to look at the source of all of the problems, which are in our mind, and life is a mirror and it will reflect that. And we find that okayness.
It's okayness for sure, but it's we've tapped into wisdom, and that's okay with us. Wisdom is wisdom, and we may not even see it that way, but anything that dissolves on an ego giving us those truths that you were pointing to in you and Amelia in your experience, it's wisdom is it's a term for no opposite, really. Wise is wise. Anything that would argue with it could use a little work, but we don't know what wisdom is. And like you and Emilio, it's self-realized.
Yeah. And it's love. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, and I want to share that I fell in love with, the Loving What Is your book that I highly recommend as the first book, because and you also have the little book. It's the Cliff Notes version of Loving What Is, which helps people understand how to do this in their own life as a regular practice, or however much you would like. I mean, for me, I think of triggers are breadcrumbs to your freedom. So anything that triggers you can free you. And the work is one way to help you come back to experiencing that freedom. But I really fell in love on a whole other level when I read A Thousand Names for Joy. A Thousand Names for Joy is based on the Tao Te Ching, which is a sacred text. And it's kind of like the modern day version. How I see it is your clear mind in a very modern day world.
My husband, Stephen Mitchell, his practice for years, Buddhism, and that's his practice. And so he would ask me questions, and I would respond. And so that is how that book came together.
And Stephen's an incredible writer, and you two together are on a whole nother level of impact and clarity in the world. And to me, getting a window peek or an insight into a clear mind and how that lives in a very grounded way helped me understand how profound the work was in a whole other level, in a whole other way. And so Emilio and I would read, it's either one page up to maybe 3 pages a day. There's, I think, 81 or so. And we would read a chapter every morning, and we'd either burst into laughter or drop into silence. And it was a beautiful ritual and way to start the morning for anybody that wants to adopt that. I mean, the reading of it is lovely, and also doing the work. I love who I am when I do the work. And so I just encourage people to test it. I mean, I'm such a fan of this, and I'm very transparent about that because I think it can change the world as we change ourselves and the war inside of us.
Yeah.
And so I thought it might be helpful to give people a taste of the work. I have a one belief at a time, but we could do a section of a judge your neighbor. The judge your neighbor is from an older situation of being bullied in middle school. And I kind of went back into that situation and I kind of wrote out a worksheet because I can see that it can still come up and filter wanting people to perceive me in a certain way or wanting to like me. And and I think that may serve more people because I think that's a very common pattern. And then
the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet for all of you. And again, there are 6 questions on it, and you anchor in a time and place and that situation. And then you identify what you were thinking and believing as questions 1 through 6 guide you through on the process of getting in touch with what you were thinking and believing. And it's inclusive. It doesn't leave anything out. It's all there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can work for any situation in your life. I know that you used to do a lot of work around addiction, and this is very helpful for addiction, depression. Really, it works on everything.
Well, this work is about addiction. We're addicted to what we're thinking and believing. And how do we react when we believe the thought? We try to change them, shift them, ignore them, deny them. We compulsively overeat. We become alcoholic, drug addicted. We're addicted to what we're thinking and believing. How do we shut the mind up? We don't know how. So we reach out for people, things, substances, anger. So this is a way of just anchoring, as you've said a couple of times, in that time and place as we answer the questions in short, simple sentences on that Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, those 6 questions.
Yeah. And once you fill out the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, you take each of those beliefs into the 4 questions and the 3 turnarounds. That's really helpful to know. I think we'll do a one belief, and I can share the situation that this is in. And
so important, all of you, to fill in even a one belief. Mm-hmm. Anchor in that time and place and identify, get in touch with, like in that situation, what were you thinking and believing? What was the situation?
Yeah. So the situation that came up for me was I was a part of a group that got together every year, and I was in my 20s, and everyone in my eyes was very successful. And they would go around in the beginning of the weekend to share all that they had accomplished that year. And these were people like, the big kids were over 50 and I was in the under 50, but the big kids were Oprah, Malala, Bill Gates, people that I really, specifically Oprah and Malala, really respected and admired. And I had a lot of insecurity coming up about not feeling like I was doing enough. And so the moment in time was we were going around sharing vulnerably and honestly about what we had done that year. And it got to me, and I was so nervous at the dinner table. I started crying, feeling shame and not good enough. And the belief was, I want them to like me.
Yeah. And for some of us, it's, we have to find our own. But for some of us, I want to impress them.
Yeah.
Or maybe
for sure that was happening. We can go with that one.
I want them to see me as their equal.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, we just anchor in that situation until that's the one.
Okay, let's do I want to.
Well, yes, that's the one. So this is an exercise in stillness. And so we just experience a part of it, a taste of it. And it's okay. So I don't have, which one are you going with?
Both are true. I mean, I want to impress them.
All three of them are true, and where are we going with it? It's like for all of us, this is where we're going to be. What is it? I want them. I want them. Let's see. Oh yeah, all three are true. Oh yeah, like anchor one. Where's the if they have equal charge, doesn't matter. But if one has a little more charge. Not sure, but yeah, a little more. Go with that one.
Yeah.
So only it's. This is the ultimate self-help. No one can point it out. Oh, that's the one you should do. No. So Alyssa, let's.
Good. Okay. I want them to like me because I want to impress them so that then they like me. So it's like I want them to like me.
Okay. So that's where you are. You want them to like you. Is it true? So all of you, as it's like anchor there, be there now in that situations. That's how to do this work, because that's where you're going to find the answers. Look around the table. They shared such, just amazed. They've accomplished so much and they're so well spoken. And now it's my turn and I want them to like me. You want them to like you. Is it true? And all of you noticing that yes is equal to no, no is equal to yes. This is about, you've heard the expression, it's the truth that sets you free. Your truth, not someone else's.
Yeah.
So in that situation, you want them to like you. Be there now. Take in all that you've shared with us. You want them to like you in that situation. Be there now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want them to like you. Is it true?
It's okay. Absolutely. No, it's
true. Notice how you react when you believe the thought. Anchor there when you think the thought. I want them to like me. Anchor there.
I can see images in my mind about preparing of what I want to say so that I give a presentation or a way of a manipulative way of saying something so that then they do like me or I feel accepted.
So you're into how can I manipulate them in a way that would cause them to like me. What I am noticing physically is like not in you, but in me, when I have to, if I'm going to prepare something that I think would so that they'd like me, a kind of panic.
Yeah.
Which takes away from my ability to say what is authentic, which is knowing you, Alyssa, what you're going for. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in my mind. I'm in the future. I'm trying to control. There's some judgment of it. I feel pressure in my temples, a shortness of breath. I don't feel like I can rest. Like I'm definitely on. I feel anxious. There's some sadness in there.
And the cause of those emotions, you're seeing images of a past, images of a future. When you think of the thought, I want them to like me.
Yeah, I can see images of my past of being bullied in middle school and thinking that that experience, like them not liking me, caused my suffering. And so I'm trying to avoid that happening in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're sitting in like the precipice of future as you're sitting in the past. Notice emotionally what happens as you're witnessing those images of past future. It's like sitting in a movie. Like if I right now say the word apple, everyone sitting here with us had to see an image of the apple. You think the thought, I want them to like me. The ego's play is there's no power without words, and words are no power without images. That is the dream. That is the That is, uh, oh gosh, the term just came to me. That is fake news. What is the emotional when we're watching the movie of past, future? We can't do anything to stop it.
Mhm.
It's ego's play. I want them to like me.
Yeah.
Continue to notice how you react. Be there now in that situation with those impressive people.
Yeah.
I want
I
to-
feel the anxiety and the sadness. I can feel it in my cheeks and in my core, but I also see images of wanting my strategy is to become like, what else can I do to be successful so that then I'm accepted in that group? I can feel that and see that play out in my head. And I lose my power and I give it to them in that moment. I think I'm not okay. There's a level of fear and not feeling safe. And I think that I need it from them. And it's harder to breathe deeper.
And notice your body language when you're sitting in those images.
Yeah, there's like a collapse. There's a part that just wants to collapse and hide.
And look at the facade that is required of the ego when you think the thought, I want them to like me, with those images of past, future. Notice the boy, the physical, the body takes on. I want them to like me. And inside you're there's a lot going on as you've described it.
Yeah.
Not like a smile.
Yeah.
It's
There's like my self-worth is tied in that moment to how I think that they perceive me, not how they perceive me, how I think that they perceive me.
or how you want them to.
Uh-huh.
And what you said.
Mhm. Yeah.
I want them to like me. Reminding all of you that this is an exercise in stillness. The work takes stillness. It's an exercise in getting still, meditating in that situation where I want these impressive people to like me.
Yeah. I can see past images, future images. I feel what happens to my body.
Yeah.
I can see that the strategy, the compensation strategy is to hustle or to prove my worth and to get busy, thinking that success is the way
Yeah. At all costs.
at all costs.
Yeah. The ego's fight for survival.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
Notice how innocent you are sitting in this trance.
Yeah. So gullible. Just believing.
Well, so tranced.
Tranced. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagination is everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm there's in that moment, I'm just seduced into fantasy, not even really there.
Okay, so be there now in all that you described.
Mm-hmm.
You've been sitting in this movie, this ego offering up past, future, and notice, who are you without that movie, without that emotional sitting with those people, listening, so impressed and grateful, seeing them as mentors. I'm here and I want to be like them. There they are, your mentors. Who are you without the thought, I want them to like me? Just entering into that generous circle, what you have.
I feel inspired. I feel connected. I feel authentic, relaxed. I'm not so focused on me and what I'm going to say or how I'm going to position what I'm going to share. I'm just taking them in and feeling really inspired about what they're up to in the world. It's also a value of making an impact. I value that. And so I feel grateful to be there and to hear the vulnerability and the real of their lives. And it feels like a privilege to be let into somebody's authentic experience. A lot of them are sharing openly and honestly. But I feel at peace and I feel present and I feel safe and I feel less concerned about myself.
And less concerned about the way they see you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel more free.
Because they wanted to know about you.
Yeah.
There you are, showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So without changing anything,
I want them to like me, turned around, turn it around to yourself. I want
me to like me. Yeah. Yes, that feels true. I want 3 examples. I want me to like the part of me that.
But let's hold it.
Okay.
With what you just said and discovered in 4, that is you liking you.
Yeah. So in that moment, without believing that I want them to like me, that is me liking me, is what you're saying.
Turned around, I want me to like me. And then as you get still in that, it enforces and validates the authentic. It's not wanting, needing, hoping.
Yeah.
Better for worse, there you are.
Yeah.
That Alyssa that I know.
Yeah. I want me to like me. Yeah. Yeah. And I want me to like the part of me that is looking for their approval. Like that gets to be included and accepted as well. And as I do that, I feel free. I feel at peace. That's not a problem. It's not who I am. It's a pattern of thinking.
Say it again. It's
the part of me, that thought pattern, or that you could say part of me, or that thought pattern that is looking for their approval. I want to like that part because when I accept that part, I feel free.
Yeah, you may notice you don't ever have that need again.
Yeah.
It's just, and if you do, there's some forgiveness, and it's like, oops, I recognize that.
Yeah. Innocent.
Could be looking at, innocent. Just it doesn't make us bad people.
Yeah.
This is an ego's world, and forgiveness, and it shows me, I need to do maybe an entire worksheet on that. I want them to like me, or if we just don't have time for it, just to look at that one again.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not bad. We're seeking love, approval, and appreciation. And I mean, how else can an ego survive? An ego is a state of mind, and it wants to live as object. I am that, and and that can never be. That's the illusion. I want me to like me.
Yeah, all of me. That's right.
I want me to like me, and I'm going to do my best sitting here. But what I can say is it's authentic, and they will or they won't. But one of us will come out of here liking me, and it's going to be me. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I'm authentic. It could be I don't even belong here. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be where I don't belong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see that. Yeah. And I want to like me, even if I perceive somebody in that group not liking me, I still want to choose me.
Yes, honey. Yes. Mm-hmm. If they don't like you and you're showing up, they can leave. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you love the one you're with, and it's always you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's one turnaround and 3 examples.
Yeah. I don't want them to like me is another turnaround. And so this is, just ponder that I don't like them to want me, but that's not true. I do want, okay, so ponder it. Yeah, but I do want them. Okay, so you could be right. Just ponder, I don't want them to like me.
I don't want them to like me if it's not their truth. I don't want them to like me if it's not their truth. That's one that feels honest, and I don't want them to like me.
Look how, just notice that one.
Yeah.
I don't want them to like me if they don't. I mean, they don't. It doesn't take our permission. So it's, we could say, they like me or they don't,
Yeah.
but, this stillness, just, oh my gosh, we're all babies, the most enlightened of us, this is Earth School.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want them to like me. If they don't,
because then I'm free.
Yeah, it's like, do I like them? That's the question, whether they like me or not.
Yeah, when I'm not preoccupied with thinking if someone likes me, my authentic questioning is do I feel drawn to them? Do I like them? Yeah.
Even if they don't like me.
Yeah, that's right. And
that kind of just getting still and that turnaround that I brought up, like maybe I use the word redundant, like think, feel it through, through, meditating in. I don't want them to like me if they don't. And then noticing I want them to like me. I want me to like them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't like me and I like anyway. I can catch, they're the ones I want to hang out with. I noticed, I had the thought as I was sharing, you didn't really like what I was saying. Maybe I rubbed you the wrong way. And if you experience that, tell me, I want to know, because they hold something we may be asleep to.
Feedback, perspective, blind spot. Yeah.
Yeah, but we fear people who don't buy our shtick. And if I'm believing I want them to like me and I don't have self-inquiry, I could say things that are like where I've said a little too much in a way that would be convincing, and that's not it.
Yeah. And an example, I don't want them to like me, is that when I accept what is, I feel free. And so if they don't like me and I accept that, then I'm free, independent of them liking me or not. And that's what I'm more interested in, is freedom more than them liking me. And underneath that, I think I want them to like me so that then I like me, but I could cut them out of the middleman and just choose to like all of me and find my source of freedom.
And them respect that they don't mess around and pretend to like people when they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I'm hearing what you were saying around the feedback. Maybe if they don't like something I'm doing or they don't like me, maybe there's something that I need to see. Maybe I'm doing something that feels out of integrity, that it was a blind spot for me. And so them not liking me may wake me up to that, to consider that. Yeah. Yeah. But when I keep my heart open to them not liking me, I feel good. So that's mine.
To keep my mind open to it, my, open mind, open heart, closed mind, closed heart. So when my mind is closed, I can say, but my heart was open, and no, it's like a valve: open mind, open heart, closed mind, closed heart. Cause and effect in the physical.
Yeah.
All gauged by the ego, the enlightened or unenlightened mind.
Yeah.
Whichever we're in.
And then the last one would be, I want to like them.
Well, let's see. I want them to like me. I want me to like me. I want me to like them.
I like that one. I want me to like them. I feel good when I like people. I have examples of back in the day, Emilio's ex-wife was very clear that she didn't like me. And I kept my heart open, my mind open, and I was doing the work, and I really liked her and I really liked her. And I felt free when I could do that. And so it feels good to me to like people. It's selfish. I want me to like them. And
sometimes when let's say I like someone and they don't like me. Sometimes the kindest thing I can do if I like them is like you to give them all kinds of space, and when they do something important, to give them that.
Totally. That feels so loving. That feels so clean. That feels true and right. And that's how I want to.
Them that as a way of saying, it's the absence of competitiveness.
Yeah.
And it's the absence of envy and the absence of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That feels really good and clean in my heart.
Yeah, honey. That would be you.
Yeah. I want to like them. Yeah. When I look for things that I like about people, what I give out is what I receive. And so it's really a gift back to myself. It is a projection of myself. So that's the gift to me. Yeah. Beautiful. And so this is just one example, one thought that we could have gone through a full Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And I loved that you slow it down so there's more stillness and really looking fresh, because I find that that's where the power is.
It really is. We could look how much time we spent on them to like me. So when we fill in these worksheets in that time and place with us sitting at that table with those people, and we fill in the worksheet on that situation, it just keeps enlightening us.
For sure. And one of my favorite on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet questions, which is I look forward to, and then you fill in the blank, the thing that you don't want to have happen, and you turn it around to I look forward to that thing happening, because to me, that's freedom. It's not trying to manipulate and control life so that then you're okay. It's about finding that okayness, waking up from the nightmare. And I love that you have that. I want to read one of your quotes. When you can honestly look forward to uncomfortable experiences, there's no longer anything to fear in life. You see everything as a gift that can bring you to self-realization. To me, that is such a way to live free. Without fear. And I also see the work as such a stand for love, or the deepest stand for love. I want to have you speak to this briefly, but I think, there's been a lot of school shootings, and I thought I heard you say something. So I just want to give you the chance to clarify it. But I thought I heard you say something about if there were a school shooting and you were there, that you would go to the one that needs love the most, the shooter. And
that I would go to him, but I would certainly understand. I certainly understand. And that is the absence of fear.
Yeah.
So I can be like on one of those little boys, as it turned out, that said something like duck or get under your chairs, or he said, I think it was, don't run. And I mean, he was concerned about everyone. He was beyond his own fear, it seems.
Yeah.
So don't run. And because evidently they were running toward the shooter, and he was just mowing them down. So that kind of, so it's what you're saying. And then number 6, I want them to like me. I'm willing that they don't like me. I look forward to them not liking me. Should that happen again, when someone doesn't like me and I don't understand, then it's another worksheet. The lack of understanding is a fearful mind, and it's a way the ego has hold of us. Yeah.
And then a way to live free beyond our fears, essentially, and to find the okayness in the moment. I think just briefly, one thing that I think people misunderstand is if they accept something, then they're stuck with it. But acceptance doesn't mean being complacent. Acceptance internally, and you can still proactively create a change in the world, but you do it from a clear mind. So there's still action that can be taken, but it comes from a different place.
Mhm.
And one misunderstanding that I've heard people have around the work, and I don't know if you want to speak to this, because to me, it's the deepest stand for love. And having people question their experience. I know that the work empowers them to find their truth. And one critique that I've heard around it is that it can inadvertently have people that have been gaslit before, they can, it has them question their experience. I feel differently about it. And I think also when somebody's, with the work, the question, they're just asking questions for that person to find their own truth. There's no influence.
Give
There's
me an
no,
example.
so if somebody has been, gaslit before, so somebody that's been quote unquote manipulated by somebody else saying that didn't happen or making them the fault, if that person does the work, they think that they would blame themselves rather than removing themselves from a situation that was unhealthy.
No, this is personal work. This doesn't need a facilitator. It just takes one human being, each of us listening here, just that one. So the work doesn't gaslight me like, I mean, if I'm gaslighting me, I'm not doing this work.
Yeah.
I'm out of the work, thinking out of self thinking away from self inquiry. I've gone into personal judgments. The work is about questioning the opposite of gaslighting.
And there's no agenda. And what's what I love about it. So it's always about what our truth is. There's questions that help us look again to find out what our truth is. That's where it feels empowering and actually can help us remove ourselves from situations that don't feel healthy or aligned anymore. So
the only agenda is what was I thinking, believing in that situation where I was frightened or hurt or misunderstood. What was I thinking and believing in that situation? And
yeah,
so now I'm going to fill it in with that's my personal agenda.
yeah.
And so I'm going to fill in the worksheet. Fill in the worksheet. I would be there now. And in short, simple sentence, fill in 1 through 6 on that worksheet.
Mm-hmm. And you can do the work on everyday, mundane, anything, any topic. But I also know, Katie, because my community is quite advanced and they're very much interested in self-realization as well. And, being with you in Costa Rica and, when Elizabeth Gilbert, we were at her workshop and we had partners and you looked at me and you're like, do you want to partner? I'm like, yes, I would like to partner with you. And we shared our gratitude list. And one of the things that just opened me was you were sharing gratitude for how I experience this is the level of freedom that you're living from. And it touched something so deep inside me that it's safe to let go of orienting out of the mind. And I remember just looking at you and into your eyes and just feeling the depth of knowing that you've gone to a place of your own edges of reality of questioning and living in a really true way. And I remember just lying down after just crying and being kind of opened and just lying down in the safety of the moment beyond the mind and knowing that it's trustworthy, that there's an intelligence that orchestrates all of it beyond the mind. This is my words for it. But my experience is that you can also use the work for self-inquiry, questioning who you think you are. Can you speak a little bit to, because one of the things
the question Liz asked was, as you were recalling it, is what are you grateful for?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the gratitude you saw. My list was so long.
Yeah.
And so the experience of gratitude is it's a beautiful thing.
And it touched something deep in me to know that it's trustworthy to let go. And I'm so grateful for that. And I also know and experience that the work can help unravel the fear to experience the freedom that's underneath it. And so just want to plug that and speak to people, whether they're looking for relational work to like get more free in relationships or around business or body or addiction, and also questioning of who I think I am in a really deep way. And that I love that it meets you where you are. I think it's so profound. And I'm so grateful for you, Katie, and for this work. And I'm grateful for who I am when I do the work. And I know you have so many beautiful offerings in the world. And I want to make sure people and we'll put all the show notes below where people can stay connected, because I'm aware that you have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific. You've got donation classes where people can do the work with you live on Zoom, right? From anywhere in the world.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's all the same. It's all there. Yeah.
And then also you do events at thework.com. Sometimes you'll do a school or different in-person events.
Schools on thework.com. They're live at the Center for the Work in Ojai. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And also there's the hotline, right?
The helpline.
The helpline. Yeah. People can call and fill out a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet and work with a facilitator.
And if they don't know how to fill one in, then the helpline will support them with that too.
Yeah.
And then there's that 99-cent app.
That's right. There's the app, 99 cents. Okay, beautiful. And what is the name of the app?
The work app.
Beautiful. Okay. We'll put links in the show notes below. Okay. I just love you so much. And I'm grateful for the work in the world. And I hope that more people get this accessible so that they can experience more freedom in their own life. So thank you for coming on and sharing and supporting my community and myself.
Oh, sweetie, you're so welcome, and love to that dear Emilio of ours, of yours, that you share him so generously.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this work that changes the world, starting with yourself. It truly does make a difference. And if you're finding value in this podcast, a cost-free way to support us is by leaving an up to 5-star review. It does mean the world to us. And as a thank you gift, we're going to send you one of the most powerful tools that you will ever discover. You're going to get behind the scenes access showing you how to live into your full potential without letting fear hold you back from stepping into your dreams. Just head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a review now. You can take a screenshot before hitting submit and then go to alyssanobriga.com/podcast to upload it. And make sure to have your automatic downloads turned on wherever you listen so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. I have so much magic I can't wait to share with you. And you can find all this information in the show notes below. But lastly, if you're on Instagram, I love connecting and hearing from you. So come on over and say hello. I'm at Alyssa Nobriga. Thank you again for being here. I cannot wait to share more with you.